Well, the Fed's not making any big moves and the economy looks like it's doing great. So, what's that mean for mortgage rates and buying a home today? Well, I think we're in for higher rates for a longer amount of time, that's for sure. Good afternoon, my name's Dave. I'm with Fairway Independent Mortgage. I'm a mortgage loan originator here in Las Vegas. And we're gonna talk about what's going on with the Fed, why things aren't moving as fast as we'd all like them to, and what's keeping the Fed on the fence about moving rates down. So the economy seems to be giving good signals that everyone's doing pretty well. And we've talked about that before on here, about how the economy seems to be doing just fine. Everyone seems to be getting along just fine. Unemployment's still looking good. That's going to be the key thing to watch. They're not just going to start dropping rates because rates are up. They're going to use it to control the economy. Now, as long as inflation is somewhat under control, which they feel like they have somewhat of a handle on it, although it's not at their 2% mark, and as long as people are employed, I think we are going to be in for higher for longer with these rates. We were certainly hoping for a June rate cut to be our first rate cut. That's what we've been talking about here. I think it's somewhat political. I think we will still possibly see 3 by the end of the year, probably all before the election. But what's the Fed waiting for? Let's get this ball rolling. Let's get buyers off the fence. Let's get them some better rates. And is that even what it's really going to do? I think we're not going to see any betterment in rates, any reprieve from the Fed, any chance for them to start lowering rates until unemployment goes up. Unemployment is not going up. It just seems like the economy's strong. So it does not seem like they're going to really give us any reprieve in rates. Now, is that good news or bad news? It's hard to say. I mean, that means everybody's gainfully employed, making money, everything's good, low unemployment rate. Of course, rates are high. They can keep them high for right now. So I think we are in for higher for longer on rates for sure. Still pulling for that June cut. I'm still hoping for a June cut. Now, what's that mean? Let's talk about what a June cut means. They're not going to cut as fast as they raised, for sure. They're going to go ahead and they're going to be cautious about those cuts because they don't want things to get too hot too fast. And they're more worried about that than anything else. So I think if we see a June rate cut, we are going to see a 1/4 point cut. We will probably see 2 more 1/4 point cuts, nothing larger. Anything larger would indicate that there's a problem in the economy and nobody wants that either. So when we get that 1/4 point rate cut, does that mean rates are going to go down 1/4? No, rates are probably going to stay about the same. They will get a little bit better, but it doesn't mean it's going to go down 1/4 point. Even then, if it went down 1/4 point, is that really what's stopping you from buying a house? You really got to just get off the fence and get in the market. Then when rates get better, we think housing prices will go up. That will be an opportunity for you to refinance and save some money. We still think it's a pretty good time to get into the market, to get into buy a house. And that's where all wealth in America is really made. That's the quickest way to wealth, is to own your own property, own a piece of the American dream. So that's one thing that's going on. Now, the second thing that's happening in the market these days is still the NAR settlement. The National Association of Realtors lost that lawsuit, and it just seems like the reality is setting in with a lot of real estate agents and with a lot of people within the industry. It seems like a lot of people are going to be moving away. A lot of realtors are going to be moving away from being buyer's agents, and they're going to transition to the listing agent side. That means they're just going to basically market to people who want to sell their homes. They'll hope to get a home sale out of the person who's selling their home, and then hopefully help them find a new home. Now, the thing about this settlement, for everybody who's not in the business, what it means is the listing side, when someone sells your home, they tell you up front, hey, look, I'll list your house. This is what it's going to cost to list the house. That's always been the case. This new thing that's starting to happen in the industry, though, is the public perception is, and more likely the reality, because the public is the ones that are selling their homes, hey, I can negotiate, or I don't have to pay the buyer's agent anymore. And it's not going to be listed anywhere for the public to see, anywhere for agents to see, which means buyer's agents are now doing their job somewhat in the dark because they don't know what they're going to get paid. Because before, it was just kind of always an understanding that, hey, look, it's going to be an equal amount for both sides, or it's going to be 3% for the listing agent, 3% for the buyer's agent. You could always look on the MLS, which is the listing service for homes that professionals use, and see what a particular home would pay if you sold it. And that's no longer going to be the case. So it's going to be a little bit of a shot in the dark if you're a buyer's agent. So I'm curious to hear from all my agents that are specifically working in the buyer market today. What are you going to do? Are you going to continue to be a buyer's agent and more roll the dice? Are you going to start doing buyer broker agreements, hoping that the buyer has enough funds in order to fulfill not only their obligation to put the down payment on the house, cover their closing costs, and pay for the services that you provide? Because the services you provide are definitely worth what you're providing. There's no doubt that real estate agents provide a service that now is negotiable in the public's eye. They've just brought that all to light. So I'm curious to hear from all my agents, specifically those that focus on helping people buy a home, especially first-time home buyer agents. What are your plans? What are you going to do? What can I do to help with public perception, with getting buyers to understand, with helping sellers understand, look, the most effective way to market your home and sell it is to have agents on both sides. So leave some comments below. I'd love to hear what everyone's got to say about that. And heck, even from the public, if you're not in the business, what do you think about this? What have you heard? What does it mean for you? Call me. I'd love to have conversations about this on both sides, both inside the industry and outside. All right, last thing I want to talk about today is going to be savings rates. I was just in a bank this last week opening an account for my daughter. They asked if she wanted a savings account. We said, of course, we're going to open her a checking account, a savings account. It's just that time for her. And the interesting thing was they still offer 0.01% interest on a savings account. It's exactly identical to what they offer on the checking account. So what's the point in having a savings account other than to get the money out of your account so you don't touch it in theory, right? You're going to move it out of the account that you spend money out of. But they're still paying so little for years. I've been preaching, telling my friends, telling my clients. I just told another client last week they had a significant amount of money that they had just sitting in the bank making 0.01%. It was a couple pennies every month, and it was a significant amount of money. So what I told him was, hey, look, you can take up to $250,000 of that money and put it into an Apple savings account. That is what you can get through your Apple credit card on your phone. If you have an Apple device, if you have Android, I'm sure there's something similar. But if you have an Apple device, it's very simple. You go into your wallet, you apply for the credit card that is in Apple's name. It's actually a Goldman Sachs MasterCard. It works like any other credit card. It sits in your Apple wallet. They actually will send you a real nice metal card too. Once you get that set up, you can go into that card and it says, do you want to open a savings account? You click yes. Very simple, couple steps. You link your bank account, link your savings account, transfer your money over there. They pay 4.5%. Is it the best interest rate on the market? No, you can find 5.5%, 5%. with a couple of different banks all over the country and wire your money there and do all that. But for simplicity, for ease, for one-day transfer in and out of the savings account, that Apple account pays 4.5%. So, ton of interest compared to your normal savings account. So if you have any money in the bank at all, making 0.01%, take a look at the Apple account. It's really a great deal and super easy to use. So there you go. There's a couple things for today. Looking forward to hearing from my agents about the NAR settlement. That's always gonna be on everybody's plate for the rest of the year, I think. I think it's gonna be interesting to kind of see how that all settles out. So that's it for today. We'll talk to you guys later.